Well, mate, let's reflect on the remarkable 2-1 win against Burnley earlier this week. And we said ahead of the game, Cat 1 Academy, your players are going to have to really perform to get the result, and they did that.
Yeah, they were good. Watched the game back, and out of possession, I thought our shape was good. There's still some things to work on in possession that we could have done better, but in terms of a performance away from home against a Cat 1 Academy that had been going well and unbeaten in 7, I believe, we've got to be happy with what the boys showed. I thought they were good on the night.
Yeah, and we spoke ahead of the game, and you were talking about the Sheffield Wednesday performance, and you'd had a conversation with them, and you wanted to see a reaction, and it shows the togetherness and collective, character in the group that they put on a performance like that.
Yeah, definitely. There was a lot of work done in between Friday and Tuesday to get some information over to them in terms of the way we play, and do they understand the way we play, because up until the Sheffield Wednesday game we've been doing okay. It was just a performance that we didn't expect, so it was just about talking and letting them lead it as well, around what we do and how we do it, and it was good. It was really productive, and going into Tuesday night there was a sense of positivity around the group, and they were ready to go and put Friday right as well. So the performance was good, and they were pleased after the game, and rightly so, because going there against the Cat 1 Academy, as I said, who've been going well, and to put on that kind of performance where for large periods we were relatively comfortable in the game was pleasing.
Yeah, give me a flavour of the kind of opposition Burnley were. You obviously mentioned they're a Category 1 club, but they've got a big under-23 pool of players to choose from, whereas you've been decimated by injuries, just like the first team in certain areas of the pitch, and to go there and have players out of position in terms of the way the game finished, you must have been proud of what they did.
Definitely, it's always going to be that way at Category 1, the funding, etc. So the squad that they've got to pick from is a lot bigger than ours. They get players out on loans, but they've still got enough players to fulfil their fixtures comfortably. So it's different in terms of the funding and what you can bring in and what you have at your disposal. But just in terms in our point of view, we ended the game with 3 scholars on the pitch. Will Lakin in goal started as a scholar, and 5 first year professionals. So we were extremely young, and the 2 centre halves went off. Manny was only down to play 60 minutes. He's coming back from injury. Richard, obviously the trialist, probably hadn't played in the game with that tempo for a while. So them coming off, Aaron Powell having to shift into the centre half role with Connor Peters, Oscar Tong, who's a scholar, playing at left back. It was we were very young towards the end, and that can only be a great experience for them. And those experiences, especially for the scholars, to play in that kind of game against that kind of opposition, will only aid their development.
Is that a benefit as well for you, knowing the players? Because obviously you come from the under-18 group, you know what they can do, and certain, if you had an under-23 manager perhaps who hadn't had that background, you wouldn't necessarily know that they had the ability or the mindset, I guess, to play in those kind of positions. Does that help knowing the players?
Yeah, it does, without doubt, and it's sink or swim sometimes as well, and can you handle it? We think that they can, but there is a bit of a step up to 23s football, especially when you're playing against Cat 1 academies, and Sheffield United in the next game, Premier League Cup, and Everton are going to be good tests as well. So if we can and when we can, we want to get the under-18s in the team and stretch them. And Kellen Higginson, for example, has been involved recently as well, but unfortunately he was injured for the game on Tuesday. But it's definitely aids their development and it stretches them, and I think young players need that, definitely.
And going through the squad that you have at your disposal at this moment in time, you mentioned the goalkeeper, Will Lakin, because again, Will Blackmore might well have been playing under 23 football because of the situation in the first team. Will's been sort of thrown into it, as you say, sink or swim, but you get that experience of playing effectively men's football, and for him, I guess that's all a learning curve.
Yeah, brilliant for Will. We've got Matt Laycock as well, who's a first year, and they're pushing each other hard, so a really good experience. And Matt Laycock played at the weekend against Ipswich, so that's helping him as well. So yeah, it's great. Circumstances are circumstances, and Will's had to come in, Will Lakin, and he's done fine. Obviously, there are going to be mistakes made along the way, and we get that. As long as he learns from that, and he does, and working with Ali, the goalkeeper coach, and going through it and analysing it. So yeah, it's been brilliant for him.
Looking at some of the other players within that group, you look at someone like Charlie OConnell, who, whenever I've seen him play, he's a model of consistency, isn't he, in terms of his approach to the game, in terms of how he conducts himself, and also in terms of the fact that he's playing probably 4 different positions. He must be a manager's dream. Yeah,
Charlie's brilliant. He reminds me a lot of Kyle, to be honest with you, in terms of dependability, that consistency and performance, and you're right, he can play in a number of positions, and I think that's a good thing, and I've explained that to him, that he's adaptable, and he played at centre half in the 23s, done really, really well. Played at right back, gets forward well, defends 1v1s really well. And for the youth team last season, he played in midfield on occasions as well. So yeah, really performing consistently well, Charlie. And I mentioned Carl there. I thought Carl was outstanding the other night as well. So some good performances.
When you look at the centre half position where you have had injuries, you've had to have players playing in different positions to fulfil those kind of roles. If you look in, at the players that you have available when they're fit, obviously you've got Emmanuel Fernandez, who's obviously come out of Ramsgate and sort of getting used to playing this kind of football again. And Connor Peters, obviously, who's come through the academy system. I guess for them too, you're just looking for them to stay fit now and get a run of games to give you the best opportunity. Yeah,
definitely. And Dave Bodie as well, that we tend to forget about. He's had another big setback. He had a hip problem, a thigh problem back end of last season. Got back into training a couple of weeks ago, and he's having to have an ankle operation now. So there's Dave as well. So we are light in those areas. But again, I'll go back to it. Harry Thomas played a couple of games against Bristol City and Swansea and done really well. And again, that stretched him, and he stood up and put in some really, really good performances. So that's good for them. Obviously, the situation for the boys and their injuries isn't ideal, but it allows the youth team to step up, and when they have done, they've done well.
And just a couple of other players who obviously you will know more about because they're playing your kind of position from a forward player. Andrew on one side, and Oliver Wabori, and obviously you've got Johnson, Gyamfi, and they've got all the tools, haven't they? It's just about making them believe that they've got those tools.
Yeah, they have. They've got a lot of natural ability, the pair of them, albeit they're probably different players. But yeah, been working with them a lot in the last few weeks. And there is stuff to work on with them. Andrew, for example, tactically needs some more understanding around that. Johnson, a little bit around his end product, albeit he got a couple of goals against Bristol City, but they're looking good. They're good lads. They want to learn. They'll listen, and they're progressing well. And the longer they're in the building, the more I think they'll progress.
And I guess when you have a settled under 23 group, speaking to similar players, they feel that it is almost like a first team because you treat everything like a first team. That's important for them as an understanding as a player, but also from a management perspective, you can put everything into it to really get the rewards. Yeah,
definitely, and that's the way we've tried to build it. Is a somewhat an extension of the first team. So the way we prepare, the way we travel, is quite similar in certain aspects, and that will only help them moving forward. And we try and align it as best we can with the first team and what the gaffer does in terms of the meetings, in terms of the way we prepare the players. So when they obviously transition into the first team, nothing's new to them, and it's gone fine. And we're getting more and more settled with the group now, getting to know each other a lot because we've had new faces that have come in as well to the group. So it's positive. I think we probably will get, hopefully not too many, but performances like Sheffield Wednesday on occasions, which is fine. But as long as we address that and adapt in the right way, like we did on Tuesday, we'll be fine.
The last couple of questions, obviously the work continues here on the dome, and as someone that obviously came back to sort of help the academy, you see the progression, but also as an under-23 managers, you must be looking forward to a potential new facility to utilise.
Yeah, it's fantastic, and it's going up quite quick, to be fair. They're doing brilliantly, and it's just another extension of one, the chance that the owners are giving to the academy to progress and develop, and secondly the chance that it gives our players to develop. And obviously already being in Cat 2 and the games program's helped our players massively already this season. You can see that they're getting stretched more, they're getting tested more, the games are more competitive, and I've said it before, the academy's in a really, really good place. I think there's some really good people working here, staff, players, and obviously the alignment with the first team and our 23s and 18s on occasions training with the first team. It's in a really good place.
And just finally, in terms of the Premier League group, that was your first group phase game. Obviously, we got off with the win, it's great. You've got Everton and Sheffield United in your group. It's top two qualified for the next stage of the tournament. You play each other home and away, so there's plenty of points to play for. But I guess your aim is, having made a good start, is to try and progress out of this group, which would be a remarkable achievement given the opposition. Yeah, definitely.
And Sheffield United are a good team. They're in our league. I know they got beat by Burnley in the first game, but they're a good side. So we've got them coming up next. I think sometime in November at the stadium, which will be another good test for our boys, and then Everton away just before Christmas. So they're games you should look forward to as a player. Definitely look forward to them as a coaching staff, etc. So great games to look forward to. Obviously, games in the league programme as well.